Today, the life simulation you'll experience is a woman who's been smeared for 3,000 years, Daji, the last queen of the Shang dynasty. You know why I'm called a fox spirit demoness? Because I carried a pot for my husband that 3,000 years of washing couldn't clean. 1075 BC, I was 9. The Su clan tribe was defeated by King Dxin. My father knelt in front of me and said, "Daughter, you have to go with the envoys." I looked up at the sky. That year's snow was heavy. Snowflakes fell on my new red wedding robe and melted into water. I didn't cry. I knew I was the living sacrifice my tribe was handing over. I entered the palace barely past 10. King Dxin, you'd later call him King Zhou, was over 20 years older than me. The first time he saw me, he didn't look at my face. He grabbed my wrist and said, "This Su girl has hard bones. She'll manage my accounts one day." That's when I learned I wasn't here to be a favored consort. I was here to manage Shang dynasty finances. The Shang had a female general named Lady Hao, queen of King Wuding. She led 13,000 troops in war. Her tomb yielded 468 bronze ritual vessels. In Shang times, women could hold military and financial power. My husband letting me run finances was perfectly normal by Shang law. But the Central Plains princes didn't see it that way. Their women were only allowed to weave cloth and bear children. By my third year managing finances, a phrase started spreading outside the palace: demoness corrupting the throne. I saw the words on a bronze account tablet and asked my husband, "Why am I a demoness, not a queen?" He laughed once, tossed the bamboo scroll into the brazier, and said, "They don't dare insult me, so all they can do is insult you." I was barely 16. I didn't fully understand. I thought it was just nasty mouths. My husband wanted to abolish human sacrifice. Early Shang killed too many sacrificial victims. Inshu royal tombs yielded over 13,000 sacrificial human remains. My husband pulled slaves out of the sacrificial pits and put them into the army and workshops. He said, "People are for working, not for filling graves." Sounds like benevolent rule, but he touched the aristocracy's cheese. They couldn't insult him, so they insulted me as a demoness. By the time King Wu of Zhou attacked, I was already in my 30s. King Wu's pre-battle oath at Mai, recorded in the Book of Documents, listed 6 charges against my husband: listening to women, neglecting ancestral rights, alienating brothers, employing criminals, oppressing the people, harboring fugitives. Notice the first charge, listening to women. That one was reserved specifically for me. The war hadn't even started yet, and I'd already been nailed in. January 1046 BC, the Battle of Mai. My husband's main armies were still campaigning against the eastern Yi and Shandong. The capital Chaoga had only palace guards and hastily armed slaves. King Wu charged in with 50,000 troops. The battle lasted one day. By dusk, the city had fallen. My husband retreated to the Deer Terrace, a tower he built for stargazing, put on his jade armor, donned his crown, and lit the fire himself. He didn't flee. He self-immolated. You think the story ends there? King Wu of Zhou did something even crueler than my husband. The records of the Grand Historian, Annals of Zhou, says it clearly. King Wu charged into the still-burning Deer Terrace, shot 3 arrows into my husband's corpse, then severed his head with a bronze axe and hung it on a white banner for public display. Then, he did the exact same thing to me. 3 arrows, decapitation, banner. A woman who was already dead, and he had to humiliate her one more time. I died, but my story was just beginning. After Zhou established its dynasty, it needed a respectable reason for its rebellion. My husband had to be a tyrant. I had to be a demoness. Originally, there were only 6 charges. By the Warring States period, charges grew to 20+. By the Han Dynasty, 70+. By the Eastern Jin's imperial genealogy, 350 in total. The pot I carried was stacked higher generation by generation. Scholar Gu Jiegong has a phrase, layered manufacture of ancient history. My husband and I are the textbook example. Every century or two, scholars added a new charge. Originally, Zhou only said my husband listened to a woman. By Warring States, it became he favored me and demoted his rightful wife. Han had directly claimed I murdered countless people. Every brushstroke wasn't history, it was political need. You know about the wine pool and meat forest? Zhou claimed my husband built a swimming-sized wine pool. But the 1976 Inshu Lady Hao tomb excavation, 468 bronze ritual vessels in total. None of them were big enough to be a pool. We Shang people did drink wine, but we drank from small ritual cups for ancestor worship, not for bathing. That charge, fabricated. You know about the burning pillar punishment? Legend says my husband built a red-hot bronze pillar for prisoners to climb. This charge first appeared in the writings of Xuanzi. Xuanzi was a warring state scholar. My husband had been dead 800 years by then. Archaeology has not found a single Shang-era branding tool, nor any victim skeleton matching the description. That charge, also fabricated. What really nailed me as a fox spirit was a Ming Dynasty novel called Investiture of the Gods, written around the year 1550. By then I'd been dead for 2,500 years. The book said I was possessed by a nine-tailed fox sent by the goddess Nuwa to destroy Shang. The book came out, and opera adapted it, storytellers adapted it, folklore adapted it. I went from a queen with added charges to literally a fox. Look at the scenes in Investiture of the Gods, pulling out Baigan's heart, cutting open 99 dragon spines, killing Queen Jiang, all invented by a Ming-era novelist. A writer in the Ming Jiajing era, just imagining things, added dozens of crimes to a woman dead for 2,500 years. And those crimes became the common knowledge in your modern history textbook. That's where the pot really came from. 1958, Mao Zedong said in a speech, "Treating King Zhou, Qin Shi Huang, and Cao Cao as villains is wrong." King Zhou was actually a very capable man, both literary and martial. Top scholars Guo Moruo, Li Shuiqin, Luo Jinyu have all argued for my husband's rehabilitation. But open the textbook. King Zhou is still a tyrant. Daji is still a demoness. Why? Because overturning that story means overturning the entire legitimacy of the Zhou dynasty's founding. What my husband actually did, the textbook won't tell you. Abolished human sacrifice. Expanded Shang territory 500 kilometers eastward through the Eastern Yi campaigns. Promoted commoners like Fei Zhong and Yi Lai to high office. Reformed the calendar to a 19-year 7-leap-month cycle, one of China's earliest precise calendars. These were real achievements. But admitting any of them weakens the Zhou's righteous overthrow narrative. So for 3,000 years, his merits were erased and my crimes were piled on. Looking back, did I really do anything wrong? I helped my husband manage finances. That was a Shang queen's duty. I supported his abolition of human sacrifice because I grew up next to those sacrificial pits myself. I went with him on the 7-year Eastern campaign without complaint because I thought he was right. I thought I was being good to my husband. 3,000 years later, what people remember isn't what I did. It's what I am. A demoness. My husband's and my story. It's the first script of reformers carrying the bag in Chinese history. Many came after. Shanyang torn apart by horses. Wang Engshi blamed for ruining the country. Zhang Jujing's family raided after his death. Every person who touched aristocratic interests ended the same way. Dead, family destroyed, history written to call you evil. The only difference is, my charge was lust. Theirs was treachery. If you ask me what I learned in 3,000 years, women cannot win in politics. Win, and you become Lu Ji or Wu Zetian, called poison women and hen emperors. Lose, and you become me, called a demoness. A male reformer who fails just dies one death. A woman who gets entangled in politics, even 2,000 years of afterlife won't let you go. This isn't about me. This is the rule. But let me also say this. 3,000 years later, there are still people coming to overturn my verdict, and that's enough for me. Archaeologists have dug up 150,000 oracle bone fragments at Inshu, and not a single one says I was a fox. Lady Hao's tomb tells you Shang women could lead armies and run finances. I didn't die wronged. I was just collateral damage from generations of storytellers. After today's episode, I'll carry a little less of the pot. Tell me in the comments. You didn't know Daji wasn't a fox spirit until now, right? Also, pick one. Carrying the pot for my husband was worth it. Or B. I should have warned him earlier the aristocracy was about to revolt. If this was useful, share it with the friend who still calls Daji a fox spirit. Let them know the truth too. See you next episode.